It says this meeting is being recorded. Okay. One of the most poignant questions facing the city of Boulder is, what is the future of CU South Campus? That question tells anyone who's been watching or listening in recent years that the city of Boulder faces its most major land decision and policy decision perhaps in its history. That would be the potential annexation of the university's property called CU South. It's 300 acres of land in the very high-risk South Boulder Creek floodplain. What we're going to do is to present a series of slides that will give you a good idea of the issues and questions surrounding the South Boulder Creek dilemma. The 136 square mile South Boulder Creek drainage basin is the site of a property that was first mined back in 1981. And as you see this aerial view of Boulder, you see Baseline Reservoir in the lower corner, you see the city of Boulder on the right-hand side of the slide, and kind of in the middle of the photograph is the campus, the so-called South Campus for CU, 308 acres of old gravel pit. The interesting feature about this landscape is that the sand and gravel that was deposited after the glacial time forms huge alluvial deposits. 4 million cubic yards of gravel were removed from this site, and it decreased the elevation by 12 to 15 feet. As the graveling operation got underway, it was important for the gravel company to build a berm. In this photograph, in the overview of the landscape today, it's hard to see the berm because the berm has been increased. But this landscape today is wildlife habitat, it's wetland, and it's a tremendous area for residents who are recreating with their dogs, bird watching. In the winter, they're cross-country skiing on groomed trails. But this landscape that we're looking at now has been fraught with difficulties over the years. Back in 1981, and here you see a photograph from the Denver Post of graveling mining, which decreased the level of that wetland by 15 feet, as I mentioned. As a result, they had to build a berm along the eastern edge of the property so the graveling operation would not be flooded. In later years, when the University of Colorado purchased this property, and you see it here with US 36 in the upper right-hand portion of the photograph, and you see the outline of the campus plan with the little green tennis courts in the upper left-hand corner, that particular parcel of land has a dual purpose in the mind of the city and the university. The city would like to acquire part of that land for flood mitigation, for a dam and a levee, and the berm, which is currently there, would have to be removed and dismantled and put to the northern edge of that property for a dam. But the university's goal is to build a branch campus on this property. They would like 129 acres made possible by bringing in 360,000 cubic feet of fill. And the dilemma here is, as you bring fill into this floodplain, filling the potential detention ponds, you're reducing the capacity for the flood to be reduced. In this next photograph, you see the September 2013 flood extent. You can still see the outline of the CU property with the berm or the levee, which is now 6,000 feet, protecting the CU property from flooding of the 2013 event. But the floodwaters were diverted northward, as you can see with the blue, into the West Valley, east of Boulder, flooding hundreds of homes and the Fraser Manor retirement community. So the dilemma is, should the university extend services, water, fire, sewer, open space, to the university in return that the university gets to build a new campus? with up to 4,000 students. Well, the final analysis has to be made by the community. And the critical question here is, what will it cost Boulder citizens? We don't really know those costs yet. The costs may run as high as $66 million, and it hasn't ever been publicly disclosed what those costs are. The physical and monetary costs of increased traffic, noise, pollution, loss of open space, endangered species being threatened, even the increased carbon footprint and sprawl beyond the city limits are all costs that have to be weighed. We have to know the long and short-term costs to the city for sewer and water. Well, in conclusion, we need an objective analysis. The community of Boulder, who is going to foot most of the bill, has to know what the benefits are. For any municipal annexation, there should be very great benefits to the community, either increased tax base for other reasons. But here, the university has been reluctant to pay any property taxes. They've refused to do so. And we have no idea what, once that annexation is approved, what will happen on that campus. As a state entity, very sovereign, they are free from Boulder rules. They do not need to abide by our higher ordinance. And it is such an unanswered question that any idea about an annexation should be put off until these costs are fully known. In conclusion, I want to indicate my preference. No rational person or rational institution would ever pursue building a branch campus on a gravel pit wetland that is subjected to floods. That is the real serious problem facing Boulder. I offer you these issues and questions. I hope you'll pursue this with your neighbors and with your Boulder City Council members, that you have faith that they will make a sound decision for the future of a better Boulder. Well, Alan?